Hey everyone, my name's Steve. I am working on remodeling my basement. I'm a bit of a do-it-yourselfer, and so I've been doing it myself. Ran into a few issues here and there, and just wanted to share some of my experiences and show how I got around some things, or how I plan to get around some things. So, first of all, I'm using steel studs down here, and started framing it out. As you can see, this wall actually runs parallel to the joists and in between the joists. So what I did was I took a couple extra pieces of track and cut the ends to make little tabs, bent them down so to lay them flat and use them to screw right into the joists up above, and then my track screws right into those, and then yeah, and went from there. I don't know if you'll notice here, but there is this post. The shiny red post is actually brand new because there was an original one that was right here, right in front of the window, and I just chopped it with. I put up the new post first. Then I cut that one with a sawzall and used a grinding wheel to grind down the existing metal nub that's sticking up, whatever's left there. I think I need to go a little bit lower because it's not quite flat yet. But the post was actually off center by about 13 inches or so. This is center here, and I figured if it's off center in one direction, it can be off center in the other. So I put a new post there. That way I can enclose it in the wall and don't have to worry about boxing it out over here in the middle of my room a few feet off the wall. Just didn't make sense. So I'm going to continue this wall out this way. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's a few copper pipes in the way. So I'm going to rerun those with PEX. I was originally, you can see the holes down here that I drilled through. Unfortunately, the PEX that I got, it's a little bit hard to manage. I got the commercial grade, and apparently there's the PEX A, PEX B, and PEX C. I don't remember which is which, but one of them is residential, and it's much more easy to work with than what I got. This residential stuff is just a bear. So I started feeding it through, but once I got to one of the ducts here, I just kind of hit a wall because I gotta go up and over it, and unfortunately the PEX isn't quite flexible enough to just keep flowing as you're feeding it through up and over. In order to bend it, I mean, you really need to work it and in order to bend it. So what I'd have to do if I was going to continue to run the PEX through here is to take down all the ducts that are in my path, pull down the ducts, run a straight line straight through, and then put my bends in it where they need to be within the PEX, bend the PEX, and then put the duct back up. And it just wasn't worth it to do that. I actually found an alternative solution eventually. So I'm just going to tie into the copper pipes over here, and then run it sideways into my soffit, which I'm going to build, and all the way down in between those trunks and straight down to tie back into the copper on that end. So when you're doing that, there's something very important to be careful of. There's ground wires. So let me see if I can find one. Here it is here. So on this gas line, these gas lines have to be grounded. So this ground wire was going from here and tying in right to this copper pipe. Well, I'm removing this, so I had to actually take this ground wire and rerun it over to this copper pipe, which I will connect to the PEX. So that'll still be that copper pipe will still go all the way back down and down to the exterior of the house. Whoops. Excuse me. All right, so here we are, and if you followed this pipe, it'll continue and go out of the house. Let's see, right? I can't even find my hand on here. There it is. So So there. So back here you'll see that this wire is all the way grounded, and it's very important when when this stuff is grounded, you have to make sure that your wire travels from in front of this water meter to behind it, because this won't conduct the electric current through. That'll break up the current. So you actually have to have a wire before the meter, and then another one after the meter. Very, very important. If lightning strikes, your house will burn right down if that gas line catches. So there you go. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do with the PEX. Another thing. Here we go. I had an air duct that it came from the trunk over here, and it ran this way, as you can see this one here, but it continued and then dropped down, shot across the two bays, and then back up into the ceiling here. Well, I didn't want to have to build a soffit around this one little duct here that crossed over two bays. So as you can see, I reran it here in between this beam and my return duct here. I had just enough room to stuff it up in there, and shot it across here instead of being out in the middle of my ceiling. And then it continues down here and up and out. So that was good. I did try using some flex duct there to make it more workable, but it was I used this horrible thing that I got from Lowe's, this flex duct here, and it just started to unravel on me and fall apart as I was working with it and trying to stuff it in there. So it was a piece of junk, and I wouldn't have been able to fit the insulated flex pipe up in there like I would like to, but it turned out that this worked out. So there you go, and I'll get into more detail as we go along about how to connect some of these ducts and how to run new ducts and tie into your trunk for new runs, because I'll be doing all the HVAC myself down here. And then what else? Oh, and how to seal it as well. That's really important. You want to the builder, when they build it, just put on some duct tape at each of the joints, which is absolutely horrible. So I'm debating about redoing all that, taking off all the duct tape and sealing these properly, because you just get so much air leakage, and it's going to all be in my walls instead of in the rooms. So similar to that issue that I ran into in terms of having to potentially build a soffit for a little thing. I don't know if you can see this this drain pipe here. This drain pipe actually came down and extended out to the middle of what's going to be our workout room here, and then came all the way down to there, and then tied back in right where you see that coupling. So what I did was I cut it. I cut out the piece that extended here, and then made a cut on the other end, pushed this whole thing back to there, and that 5 foot piece, that 5 foot section or so that I cut out, I just put right here and filled the gap that I made by moving this side over with that same piece that I cut out. So I'm still going to have to build a soffit. I'm not going to be able to avoid that. There was no way for me to get that up inside the joists or anything, because of all the different components that are tying in up here. There's a couple different drains feeding in. So but at least it's not a soffit in the middle of the room. It's closer to the wall. It'll probably still be about 2 feet out, but it's better than having something right in the center, splitting the ceiling. All right, so let's see, framing. You'll see the shiny new wall that I built here. This was actually the builder had a 2x4 wall that just spanned the width of the stairs here, and the thing was, it was recessed back from this side, so the post here actually stuck out farther than the wall did. Now if you get right here, you'll see that that the wall is definitely sticking out much farther. Now I could have used some fairing strips or something to build out the 2x4 wall, but the wall was just, they used such bad lumber that it was all bowed and twisted, and the crowns weren't all in the same direction. It was just a really bad job. It was obviously rushed. So I used 2x6s and it bumped it out, and it's nice and straight. So I killed two birds with one stone, and now these posts will be recessed inside the wall once I continue out past here. And let's see, anything else? I think that might be about it for now. So like I said, I'll be doing a lot of work down here, and I started a little bit late with the video documentary, but I'll keep it going as we move forward. All right, talk to you soon.